Hello, everyone. Welcome to Planet of NY Sports. Here we talk Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets, and a little bit of the Knicks and Nets. So today we will be doing a Jets versus Vikings pregame. So we brought our Minnesota Vikings fan here, Rodrick Ray. Let's give it up for the man. Let's give it up for the man. So, Rodrick, do you just want to, give us a little rundown about the Vikings this year?
Yeah, I'll do that. So the Vikings 9-2, second in the NFC conference, first in our division. You know, we're gonna clinch this week if we can beat the Jets, and then the Lions can choke against the Jaguars. Obviously 9-2, great record, having a great season. Our two losses not that great. Every game's been really really close. We haven't really blown anybody out, but overall, I do think we're a good football team. I think we should go far in the playoffs, and I've liked this year. Definitely, I've liked it a lot.
Okay. So, Roderick, I know you have some notes on your opinion about this Jets and Vikings game. How do you think it's going to go?
Well, no bias, but obviously it's gonna go in that way of the Vikings. I definitely have them winning this game, 30-17. I have a couple points I'd like to go through though. The first one being obviously Jets legend Mike White. He had a great game last week. He threw for, let's see, 22 of 28, 315 yards and three touchdowns with a 149.3 passer rating. Unbelievable game against the Bears. Mike White, a lot of hype for him building into this game, and a lot of people are. I expect them to want him to do well. I don't think he's going to have that great of a game, heading into Minnesota, playing against that defense, that pass rush. Darius Smith is going to get after it today. Had a little quiet week last week, but I think he's going to get back after it. Danielle Hunter, we get Dalvin Tomlinson back, Giants legend, and that pass rush is going to be elite. And I think we're going to get after Mike White. He's also going to make some mistakes. He is still a pretty raw quarterback, not a lot of experience. So I think he's gonna have a bad game. He'll put up some points, but he's not gonna have a great game.
Okay. That was interesting. That was very interesting. You think Mike White? Okay. I respect that. Now, anyways, I would say the matchup that I think all of us here are really excited for:
Yes,
Justin
sir.
Jefferson, Sauce Gardner. This is going to be a big matchup. Big matchup. Roderick, we already know your opinion on, what Justin Jefferson may do. Do you have any predictions for Justin Jefferson this game?
Yeah, 12 receptions, um, majority on Sauce, by the way. Um, 12 receptions, 12 receptions. Let's say I don't know, 165 and a touchdown. Usually, I would have said two, but usually he doesn't score that much. So I'll give him one touchdown, 165, 10 receptions out of the 12 on Sauce's head, and you're gonna show him who his dad is. Yeah.
Okay. Alex, do you have any predictions? More realistic predictions for this Sauce versus Jefferson matchup?
Okay, so I think maybe Justin Jefferson would have I would say at least one touchdown. I would say definitely at least one touchdown. Maybe 90 yards leaning towards that, and say 6 or 7 receptions maybe. I, I
Okay.
trust I trust Sauce Gardner. I trust Sauce Gardner.
All right. Well, guess what? I think Justin Jefferson has his worst game of the year, has 50 yards, three receptions, and no touchdowns. I think Justin Jefferson will be locked up this game. That is my hot take for the week. Now, anyways, let's get into Mike White a little more, shall we? So, Alex, how are you feeling about Mike White so far?
I mean, after that Bears game, I feel confident about Mike White. But going into Minnesota playing against his Vikings defense is definitely going to be difficult. But I would say he would. I don't think he's going to do terrible. He's not going to have the worst game ever. But I think he's still going to produce and do good for this Jets team.
Yes, for sure. Now, if you're the Jets, these next few games coming up for you, they're going to be very big. The Patriots, I don't think you have to really worry about them anymore. The Vikings, they helped you out last week, and then the Bills kind of helped you out. You don't have to really worry about them now. Now it's basically you're still have to try to get that wild card spot, and you're going to need at least 10 wins. So now here we know their schedule. They face the Vikings this week and then the Bills next week. Those are two very tough games. And like I said last week, the Jets are going to have to win one of these games here. And if they really want to make the playoffs, because like I said, after that, you have the Lions and the Jaguars. Okay, the Jaguars may be a little tough. The Lions are unpredictable. But if you can win those games, okay. But you're going to really have to win one of these two games here. This Vikings game, it's a pretty big game. This is going to tell us, a lot about this Jets defense going up against this highly touted Vikings offense. And then next week, you head over to Orchard Park. And that's not going to be easy against Josh Allen and the Bills. That's not going to be easy. Hey, we know the Vikings went over there and beat them, but that was a 1 o'clock game. So, anyways, I digress. Mike White. Mike White is going to have to step up this game if they really want to win. And like Rodrick said, I don't know if Mike White's going to do really that well. He's not going up against the Chicago Bears here. He's not. This Vikings defense, it's way different than Chicago's defense. Way different. And Minnesota's offense, I know I have my hot take with Justin Jefferson, but still, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes off and, Rodrick's prediction somehow it comes to fruition. I wouldn't be surprised. So this is going to be a very, very telltale game about the New York Jets. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I definitely agree. I feel like this is definitely one of the bigger games this week. I mean, it kind of will show how good the Jets really are against, higher, more competitive opponents, and it'll show how good the Vikings can deal with, the new additions of Mike White and how they'll do against the Jets defense. So it's kind of it's a really good matchup, I would say.
I think this is a, pretty telling game for the Jets to see how they perform. What I'm really looking forward to is the coaching matchup with Robert Saleh. How does he prepare his team with, obviously, you don't have Zach Wilson starting. You have Mike White starting. I know Michael Carter is going to be doubtful, the starting running back. So I want to see how he faces adversity. I want to see how they prepare, how they try to attack this Vikings defense, and how they attack the offense too. I want to see what Mr. Saleh does over there in that department.
Okay, yes, for sure. So now I'm going to give a few reasons why the Vikings will win this game and why the Jets will win this game. I guess we can do the Vikings first. So, Roger, do you have any reasons before I get into it?
We're a better team, more talent up and down that roster. The only I did a little list about all the positions. Look at this team. Look at the two teams. I can really give the Jets the D-line, probably a better D-line than us, and maybe linebackers and corners. But besides that, special teams, the whole offense, the Vikings have a way better offense, and the Jets have a really good defense. It's really just going to be if the Jets can hold the Vikings enough and Mike White can do enough to help them win a game. Me personally, I just don't think you don't have enough talent for that to happen. That's just my opinion.
Yes, for sure. So now I have a little reason of why the Vikings may win this game before I get into the Jets. So, like I said, it is kind of too easy and too predictable to rely on that man, Justin Jefferson. So therefore, maybe they'll run the ball. Maybe because guess what? The Vikings are 7-0. 7-0 when rushing for at least 75 yards. At least 75 yards. So, I mean, hey, you never know. If the Vikings get Dalvin Cook going this game, I'm not liking the Jets' chances here. I'm really not. I mean, like I said, if you can limit Justin Jefferson, it's okay. But the Vikings, that rushing attack, when it's on, it's really good. And they're undefeated. So that's definitely a big problem there. So now we can do why the Jets will win. All right. I guess we can say Mike White, baby. Mike White. The man can play. Mike White. He's been hurt. He's been pushed aside. I don't care. He's Mike White, baby. He's not a number overall 2 pick, Zach Wilson, but he's doing better than Zach Wilson. So as good as Minnesota is, their secondary. Minnesota's secondary is like a little against like some top QBs. So that'll definitely be a little suspect there. Alex, what do you think?
Mike White, last week, I know that he's not going up against the Bears like last time, but I think last week he definitely showed that he has like the talent and that he can do what he needs to produce for this Vikings offense. I think that will definitely be a vital part. It really just be how well he'll do against the Vikings defense, because I know the Vikings defense is definitely miles better than what the Bears defense was. So it's really just how he will improve and adapt to the defense like that.
Okay, so Rodrick, I know you're a Vikings fan and all, but can you give me at least one reason why the Jets may win this game?
I can give you a great reason. This should be a reason that we could lose any game, obviously. We do not play we don't play a lot of press. Our corners are usually about 6 to 7 yards back off of any receiver. And I think that it's killed us before. If you look at the Eagles game and the Cowboys game, they just attacked us underneath and then, broke out big plays, whatever, nice block and whatnot. So if you're still playing this soft shell defense and, you're not really pressing anybody, you're not really getting at them to the line of scrimmage, you're going to get, if the Jets can exploit that weakness, they do have, some go out. They have Garrett Wilson, who's a great receiver. If they can get, some screen games or some outside runs and, the quarterback's already so far back, they can break some runs and break some, little screen passes. And I just think that sometimes when the defense is giving up a lot of points and the offense, they do have stretches where they do go cold. I think that if the Jets get a sizable lead and they can pin their ears back and just send 4 or 5 to the Vikings every play because they have to pass, I think the Jets can win this game. If they can get a lead and they can get ahead and trust their defense to just get after Kirk Cousins, yeah, they can definitely win this game.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Now, is there any other stats before I go into a little different topic here, like off the game? Is there anything else like about the game that you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, I have some bad news. Or not really. It's not really bad news. Not really any breaking news. But 2 weeks ago against the Cowboys, Kirk Cousins had his passing touchdown streak broken. I just want to bring that up. I think it's very important that we talk about that. Kirk Cousins is obviously the greatest quarterback of all time, and having that record broken, it hurt me. It hurt to watch him get sacked 500 times. So
what did you just say? No. What did you just say?
I said Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback in the
No. That's not what you said. You said Kirk Cousins is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Zach Wilson exists, by the way. I'm just
exactly. What are you talking about?
I forgot about Daniel Jones too. My bad.
Don't talk about Vanilla Vic like that.
Oh, come on, man. Bro, I forgot about Mike Glennon too. Oh my gosh.
The long
Okay. We're not talking about Mike Glennon. No. Now, anyways, getting back to what you just said, you think Kirk Cousins is a top 10 QB?
I've had this conversation.
Let's hear your QB ranking. I want to hear this. Let's get comfortable.
A lot of times with family members, friends, I think statistically and even with the eye test, he's probably a top 10 quarterback. So off of the last couple years, I'm not going to count any of the rookies like Lawrence and Mac Jones. Like forget them. And then there's also a bunch of horrible quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield and Davis Mills. Like they're obviously not anywhere near that. But right now, obviously you have Mahomes, you have Allen, you have Burrow, you have Jackson, you have Hurts. What's that? 5. Let's see. I said Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Hurts. Okay.
Hurts? Like Hurts over Herbert? Are we sure about that?
No. I'm just making this is in no order.
Okay.
You got guys like Lamar Jackson. You got guys like Kyler Murray. I guess you could throw in Geno Smith, but I'm just, he hasn't. It's only been 1 year. It hasn't even been a full year yet. But I think if you guys, I'm spinning this on you. If you guys can name 10 quarterbacks, I can give you a reason that Kirk Cousins is probably better than them. If you want to do that.
Oh, just give you just 10 quarterbacks. Why why Kirk Cousins is better?
Yeah.
Any quarterback? Any quarterback?
Not any quarterback, not the obvious ones, but
no.
Wait, let me give you an example. Dak Prescott, absolutely not. David Carr, Derek Carr. I'm sorry, Derek Carr, absolutely not. Garoppolo, no.
Okay.
Quarterbacks like that. You know what I'm saying? That people think that are like these B plus, so to speak, quarterbacks. I think Kirk Cousins is better than them, and that's how I think he squeaks into the top 10.
Okay, but where would you put Kirk Cousins in your top 10 rankings?
10. He's the 10th best.
Okay, so let's go over that right now then. Okay. This isn't no order. We're just going to name QBs here. I'm pretty sure we'll all agree with this. Okay. So, Patrick Mahomes, obviously. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert.
Yep.
I would still put Tom Brady over Kirk Cousins, so I'm going to keep him there. I'm Tom Brady is
all right.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. He still has rings, and Kirk Cousins still disappears in the playoffs. I digress. Anyways, did I say Justin Herbert yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Herbert, Allen, Mahomes, Brady.
Would you? I don't even know if I'd say Hurts is yeah. Okay. We'll come back to him. Lamar, I guess, but he's like, Who else?
You want to talk about no playoff success? Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. But Lamar won an MVP, so you gotta give him that.
He's more talented, obviously.
Mike White. Let me chill.
Mike White? No. I would still say Aaron Rodgers is still better than Kirk Cousins. I know you don't like to hear that, but he still is. Get over it.
He's not even the best quarterback on his own team. Okay, how can he? All right, never mind. All right, whatever. Sure, 6. Don't care. 6. Cool.
This is in no order. 2. I'm just Jordan Love.
Jordan Love is the truth.
Yeah, easy for you to say. You want to face Jordan Love every game.
Absolutely. Right.
You want to face Jordan Love. You want him to,
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. I definitely can't say like Russell Wilson. Absolutely not.
Well, I'll give you a couple ones. Joe Burrow.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
That's 7. I don't know if I take Kyler Murray over him. I'm gonna be honest. With all the off the field and even on the field stuff, he's not that good, if I'm being real. That's just my opinion.
To be honest, now that I think about it, I may put Kirk at just because of Kyler, and how he's really been this year. I don't even not good.
I will say this: Kirk being a top 10 quarterback shows how far the quarterback talent pool has fallen off. Like a couple years ago, Kirk wasn't even top 15 because you had guys like Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers when he was still all right, But he is a top 10 quarterback. It doesn't mean as much, but we can agree he is in there.
Okay. So wait, so I have a question. Are we doing this strictly off of this year, or are we doing this 2
to 3 years? That's why I didn't say guys like Geno Smith.
Okay. Because I'm not gonna go ahead and say Tua. No, Tua. We need to see Tua in a big spot at Orchard Park, beat the Buffalo Bills, and then I'll go ahead and say, oh yeah, Tua. I'll jump on the Tua train. Right now, absolutely not. I'm not jumping on that Tua train. No. Anyways, let's see. Maybe. Or do we want to say Dak is better than Kirk Cousins?
Oh, I don't care about the 40-3. I really don't even want to talk about that.
I mean, it was 40-3. I know you got a lot. I know you got a lot of crap from everyone in the school and stuff after that day. But hey, let's talk about that real quick, shall we? Let's talk about the 40-3 loss.
Do we have to?
Yes, no, just a little.
I don't think it's necessary, but all right. Proceed.
So just tell me, like, what happened that game? What happened that game, Rodrick?
Our left tackle died. Our offense died. The defense didn't even show up to the field. It was actually 11-0. I don't know if you saw to watch the game, but it was just 11 people on for Dallas, and then just nothing, And we got. If you look at the Eagles game, we just got kicked. We didn't show up. I feel like we were riding high off that Buffalo win, and we just didn't show up. It's plain and simple.
Okay. Well, I'm just looking at Kirk Cousins' stats here. All right, so he has 9 picks. I was just checking because you said last 3 years. I mean, you did bring up Jimmy G. I don't think Jimmy G's the best quarterback in the world, but
Don't say it.
The guy went to a Super Bowl. He went to a Super Bowl. I'm not calling Jimmy G a top 10 QB. I'm just saying. Kirk Cousins is in that range. He's not very,
All right, let me ask you this. If you put Kirk Cousins on that 49ers team back in whatever year they played the Chiefs in Super Bowl, do you believe that Kirk Cousins, if he was on the Niners, he could have won a Super Bowl against Pat Mahomes with that team?
I don't think it would have made a difference.
Really? Okay.
Did the Vikings make the playoffs that year?
Yeah. We lost to the Niners in the divisional round.
That's why I'm saying it's like, I mean, I don't know if they like. Well, what year was that? Was that 2019?
I believe it was the year before COVID.
Okay, let's just look up Kirk Cousins 2019 stats. Let's do that. Let's see. Okay.
That was the push-off year with Kyle Rudolph.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Kirk Cousins stats. All right. So he was okay. 26 touchdowns. Okay. 6 interceptions. Okay. So he had a good year. I mean, I still don't think it would have made much of a difference. I don't. Because the way the 49ers use their QBs too, like I don't, Okay, we're really straying away here from the top 10 list.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I'll put Kirk Cousins at like 9 or 10 because a lot of QBs this year have fell off hard. Like, like Russell Wilson, like he's like in the lower.
Broncos country, what's Rod?
I'm really ashamed to have the same name as this dude now. He's, that's why I have RJ there instead of Russell. But anyways, like I said, I think Kirk Cousins, fine Rodrick. I'll put him at like maybe 9 or 10, somewhere there. And Stafford, he's been hurt this year. Hey, if Stafford didn't get hurt this year and he was good, I would put Stafford ahead of Kirk Cousins. I don't care.
Easily.
Stafford won a Super Bowl. Won a Super Bowl.
I'll tell you this. If you put Kirk Cousins on that team last year, they still would have won a Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins would have won a ring if he was on the Rams last year. That's just a fact to me. Actually, wait. There's many quarterbacks.
I mean, because we're talking about Matt Stafford here. He has a lot of veteran experience, so it's like it'll kind of be. I feel like it'll be
doing what? He hasn't. Besides his early years.
What has Kirk Cousins done? What has he done?
Exactly.
What has Kirk Cousins done?
He's done more.
No. He's done more? Are you serious?
Yeah. Hold on. You want to do this? Okay, give me a second.
All right, yeah, let's do it. What has Kirk Cousins done in his career? In a big spot. I don't care about the regular season games at 1:00. I don't care.
Okay, what about
in a big spot? And I don't care about the Patriot game either.
Wait. What about the time he led the largest comeback in NFL history? Do you remember that? Do you remember?
In a big spot. I asked for a big spot. I asked for a big spot.
Big spot.
I asked for a big spot. A big spot.
Look at all the
greatest comeback in NFL
history. He leads the league in game-winning drives, right? Game time or game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or in overtime.
This year?
Yeah, I think it's this year, and he did it last year too. Because if you looked at the games, last year, week 1 against the Bengals, he did it. Last year, week 2 against the Cardinals, he did it. I believe he did it in week 4. And he just kept doing it throughout the season. He's just so consistent on those game-winning drives where he's just almost automatic. and I feel like people don't really either notice that or don't give him credit for it. But yeah, I know it's not
Where
a
was he
playoff.
against the Cowboys?
Where was he at for Cowboys? He was getting sacked after about 1 second. He snapped the ball and then he just got sacked. That's where he was, on the ground, dying. But
Okay.
anyway, let's get back on topic. Jets
Anyway,
Vikings.
yeah, back to the Jets and Vikings. Rodrick, is there anything else you want to bring up besides your pretty interesting take on Kirk Cousins?
Let's go 10-2. That's it. Let's
Okay.
get this division wrapped up. Let's go.
I did pick the Vikings to win the division. Like coming, I didn't really think the Packers were going to be the same, to be honest. But anyways, we can do a little score predictions here before we get into just some news about the Jets, outside of this game. So, Alex, what is your prediction for this game?
Let's see. Maybe like 27, I'd say. Maybe like 27-17. Vikings probably.
Okay. Rodrick, what is your prediction?
30-13. Vikings win.
Okay. So my prediction. This will be a tough game. It'll be interesting. Mike White, I don't know if I really trust him going into Minnesota. This is a very big game. Sauce Gardner versus Justin Jefferson. Really big matchup. Rodrick had a very interesting point differential there. All right. But give me give me the Jets 20-17. Jets, baby. Let's go, Jets. Mike White will lead the Jets to victory this week and beat the Minnesota Vikings. That's what I think. Now, anyways, getting into some outside news. So we can talk about Zach Wilson. Let's talk about the guy. I know we kind of ragged on him a little. Rodrick, I never heard your take about Zach Wilson. So you just want to give me your feelings about Zach Wilson?
I can give some feelings, some strong feelings about that too. Zach Wilson is not an NFL quarterback. He went to BYU. Where even is that? He went to somewhere I've never even heard of. I don't think he was ever built for the NFL. I don't ever think he was built for, especially New York. I don't think he has the size. I don't think he has the, I don't even think he's a leader. You're a quarterback. You really can't lead that team. I don't think he's, I'm not going to say he's deserving because he has some talent. But I don't believe he was ever going to be a successful quarterback at the NFL level. Just looking at his build and who he was playing in college. He was playing really bad teams in college, and he was just feasting. I feel like his stats got padded. I feel like he just never was. He's never going to be successful. He was never going to be this franchise guy that Jets could depend on to lead into Super Bowls and consistent success. Goodness gracious. But yeah, that's my feelings. He's awful. That's really it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you basically said what Alex and I said, just not as harsh about it. But
brutal.
yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty true at this point. The guy, I think he's done. I think it's pretty much over for him in New York. I don't, especially if Mike White keeps balling out. I don't really see, unless Mike White either gets hurt or somehow loses 40-3 against the Vikings. I'm sure the Vikings know a lot about that from the other side of things. But anyways, so we have an update on Zach Wilson. So the quarterback coach from the New York Jets, they need to fire that guy, by the way. But anyways, I digress. He says that he's been playing a bit more freely in practice and not overthinking things. I guess that's a good, a little better. But still, like I said, there was a lot of problems. And the fact that he couldn't even make, routine short passes, it's definitely a mental thing. I don't think the guy is built for New York. Some guys, and you see this in all sports. You see it in all sports. You see it in baseball. I don't even need to
Joey
name those guys.
Gallo.
I don't feel like going into that. You see it in basketball. Julius Randle. Some guys, New York isn't for everyone. And, Zach Wilson, this isn't Utah. Okay, man? This is not Utah. This is not Utah. You can't be saying certain things to the media, not taking responsibility. And you're supposed to be a captain on this team too, mind you. You have that captain tag. And you can't say those things. You need to take responsibility. Seriously. And also, he wasn't a captain in college. So what does that say? You weren't a captain at BYU. Are you serious? You weren't a captain at BYU. There's definitely some maturity issues with this guy. Hopefully, so far it seems like it's humbled him. I'm not so sure if it's going to stay that way, though, because Mike White, he may keep the job for the rest of the year, especially if the Jets somehow go and beat the Vikings like I said. Oh, Mike White's keeping that job for the rest of the year. Rodrick, I know you don't think it's going to happen. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just saying if just in case, if that does happen, Zach Wilson, he's not playing another game this year, and I think he's getting traded. That's just my opinion. What's your guys' take on if the Jets do win this game and Mike White does somehow go and ball out? What do you think is going to happen to Zach Wilson?
I think I'll just air it out. He's not going to get a chance in the NFL if Mike White can hold the starting job. I feel like if you look at a guy like Baker Mayfield, who had a pretty mediocre start to his NFL career, but that year in 2020, when he started balling out, but then he got hurt the next year, teams saw his potential. Teams saw what he could be, and that's why he got another shot with Carolina. But I feel like Zach Wilson, we've never seen him ever look like a starting caliber quarterback. So I think this might be it for him. If Mike White can hold on to this job, and sucks for him, but he didn't really do anything to help himself out. So I think this is it.
What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same line. I mean, you see Mike White, his first game starting, he had almost as many touchdowns as Zach Wilson had for the entirety of the season. So, I feel like he needs to. I don't know if the Jets will really want to use him anymore after they see how good Mike White has been doing, or how good Mike White did so far. And I don't know. I feel like the Jets probably won't even need him anymore. So he's either because they still have Joe Flacco, which I don't even know what they're going to do about him. So Zach Wilson, I don't know what's going to happen with him.
I don't know. Maybe Zach Wilson will be going to the New Jersey Generals. I don't really know what's going on with Zach Wilson. I think like both of you said, I think he's done after especially if they make the playoffs too. Oh yeah, he's done. He's not starting another game. He may go because the Jets, they're gonna have to trade him because you're not gonna want to keep him around to be a backup and stuff, especially if you guys make the playoffs. There's no point.
And then if you have Mike White starting, there's no point in even having them there in general.
Mm-hmm. But then again, Mike White is also a free agent after this year, so that's going to be something too to think about. There may be some teams that go ahead and say, "Hey, we'll sign Mike White," and he's probably going to want a starting job. He's probably going to want, especially if he goes and balls out, he's going to want a guaranteed starting job, most likely, or to at least be a stopgap kind of QB. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out, especially with the Jets and potentially moving Zach Wilson, or if they're not going to move Zach Wilson. It all depends. We'll see what happens and how the Jets end off the year. And also, I want to just segue into that, so how the Jets are going to end off the year. Alex, what is your final record prediction for the Jets?
Let me pull up the schedule real quick so I can tell you. Okay. So, where are they right now?
The Jets are 7-4 right now.
7-4. Okay, so 7-4. Let's see. So the next game against the Vikings. No, I don't really like the chances against this. Okay, 7-5. Bills. Yeah, maybe. Well, if I had to choose between the Bills and the Vikings, I would probably most likely go with the Vikings for their win. So maybe like at that point it would be 8-5. Lions and Jaguars. Lions, like we said, are unpredictable. I don't know about that one. I'll give them a win for that one for the Jaguars. So what, like 10-5 now? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Seahawks. Seahawks are probably gonna be tough, and Dolphins are probably gonna be tough. So yeah, I'm unsure for those last two, but I would say they would make the playoffs at least, but like not by a lot, but
Rodrick, how do you think the Jets end off the year?
Um, Let me think for a second. I think that well, I mean, just looking at the other teams that they have to compete with, obviously the Cincinnati, which I think they're going to make the playoffs. Look at the Chargers schedule. They have a pretty easy schedule. They have a couple almost guaranteed wins. They have the Rams, the Broncos. I think the Jets drop versus Minnesota. I think they drop versus Buffalo. I think they drop versus Seattle and Miami too. So I think that they miss the playoffs, but they do go 9-8. And I think that if you're a Jets fan and you came to the season, you would be okay with 9-8 season. Um, so I guess maybe that's a little bit of a consolation, but I think they miss out by half a game.
So let's look at it here. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say I'm gonna do this two ways. So let's just say the Jets beat the Vikings. Let's just say that happens. Let's say that happens. Okay, that's a win. I do not think they're going to beat the Bills in Orchard Park at all. I think that is definite L. I think they're going to lose that game. I think they are. If they go ahead and win that game, I will post this clip, on the post game for that. But I don't think they're winning that game. Anyway, the Lions, I'll give them a win there. Jacksonville, I'll give them another win there. So that's two. Okay. I'm definitely giving them an L against Miami. I'm just going to get that out of the way. I don't think they're beating Miami. I don't think they are. And then the Seahawks. That's going to be interesting. The Seahawks, before the Raiders game, I would have definitely been like, yeah, the Jets are 100% losing this game. I'm not so sure now. The Seahawks, they're like, I think it depends what the situation is for the Jets and who's at quarterback. I think if Zach Wilson is somehow back under center, I think the Jets will lose that game. But anyways, just to get into it here, I don't think the Jets are making the playoffs. I don't think they are. Like Rodrick said, with the Chargers, and then you got the Bengals too, who have the tiebreaker over you. And let's say the Bengals go in the first place. The Ravens also have the tiebreaker over you. I just think it's going to be very tough for the Jets. They have one of the toughest schedules. And then you look at, like Rodrick said, the Chargers schedule, it's not very difficult. They got the Broncos. They got the Raiders this week. If they go ahead and win that game, it's like, So it's going to be very tough for the Jets. And even if the Jets go 10-7 and then the Chargers go 10-7, the Chargers, I did it on NFL Playoff Predictor. The Chargers will have the tiebreaker over the Jets in any way. The Chargers will have the tiebreaker. So it's going and that's what I think the Jets are going to end up with, 10-7, maybe 9-8, something like that. I think they missed out on the playoffs this year. It's going to be Jet fans. Some of them are going to be very, very like, oh yeah, at least we're blah, blah, blah. No, but I think most of the Jet fans out there are probably going to be very disappointed because like the Giant fans now, like we understand we're still rebuilding and stuff. But like with the Jets now, you kind of have this defense. And literally, if you think about it, if you had a competent QB, those two games against the Patriots, you would have won that. And we wouldn't even be talking about, if the Jets, might miss out on the play. We wouldn't even be talking about that. They should have beat the Patriots both of those games if they had even a decent QB back there. So to be honest, I think it's definitely going to stay in Jet fans' minds. And that punt return for a touchdown, I think that right there is what probably just kind of ended their season per se. What do you guys think?
I think that they're the Washington Commanders of old. I think that they're going to be like Washington in the fact that they have a great defense. You know, they got Sauce, they got Williams, they got all these nice players on defense, but they don't have the quarterback play. They have some nice weapons with obviously Elijah Moore, but I just don't think they're ever going to, unless they can find that quarterback, which is going to be hard to do unless you trade for somebody because the Jets aren't bad enough to get a top 5 pick. Like their defense is too good that they're not going to be able to suck so much they can get a top tier quarterback in the draft. So I think that they might be stuck for a little bit if they can't figure out who's going to start at quarterback. And like you said, Jets have competent quarterback play. They're probably going to be 9-2 right now. That's a scary thought. I'm just going to say that. But I don't know how they're going to be able to find a quarterback unless Mike White just becomes a savior. I don't know how they're going to find a quarterback that can carry them to at least consistent playoff success and regular season success. But even beyond that, once you get that, you obviously want to go deep in the playoffs. So I think they're probably not going to – they don't have a great future for the quarterback position at least.
Yes, for sure. So now, speaking of the quarterbacks, I guess let's just do, a hypothetical here. What are some possible QB options for the Jets going into next year? Now, no QB, they're not going to draft a QB. They're not doing that. So, but like maybe a guy like, let's say, a Jimmy Garoppolo, a Derek Carr, someone like that, it's not a realm of possibilities here because I don't think this will happen either, but it has been discussed on multiple shows and stuff. Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers in the Packers. We really don't know with Jordan Love and all of that. We don't know who they're committing to and all of this. And if Aaron Rodgers does request a trade, can the Jets maybe be interested? I mean, that would be because at that point, I think the Jets are probably going to be in that situation where they feel like they're a QB away. But like the Broncos have shown with Bronco Country, man, that is a very risky thing to do, like trading all of your first-round picks and stuff like that. So, Rodrick, give me your number one QB target for the Jets next year.
I'm going to go off the board. Taylor Heinicke of the Washington Commanders. I think that, for one, Heinicke just fits. He sounds like a Jet. Like, just his energy and how he plays on the field. He sounds like a Jet. I feel like the fan base could get behind him. I don't know if they'll have to make a trade for him. I believe he's a free agent. Don't quote me on that. But I believe Taylor Heinicke is probably going to be I'll say he's probably going to be the starting quarterback week 1 next year. I'll say it.
Okay. I can see that. Alex, same question to you. Who do you think is the Jets starting QB next year?
I feel like I wouldn't go wrong with Taylor Heinicke. I mean, like Rodrick said, I think he would definitely fit into that position. And maybe if they want to get Mike White back, they can. But it really all depends, I feel like, on how he does for the remainder of the year.
Okay. Looking at it, Taylor Heinicke is a free agent after a season. So, yeah, that is definitely reasonable if Washington decides to let him go. Now, I don't know if Washington is going to let him go, though, because now they're not bad enough to really get, a CJ Stroud or, a Bryce Young. They're not that bad anymore. Hey, if they go and beat the Giants, they may make the playoffs this year. They may make the playoffs. So I don't know if they're going to be really drafting a QB unless they trade their pick. So that seeing how Heinicke is and how the Washington Commanders play with Taylor Heinicke. Roger's standing up again. Anyways, I digress. But seeing how Washington plays with Taylor Heinicke, I don't know if they'll give him up. But if they do decide to let him walk, I think the Jets, they should. Because, a guy like Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have to trade for and stuff and give up assets. Hey, if you just, you can just go ahead and sign Taylor Heinicke. And I'm sure he's not going to ask for that much, But it's going to be very, very, very interesting. So, is there any more things you guys would want to cover with the New York Jets versus the Vikings?
All good.
All good. So, we have our predictions. Rodrick is predicting a blowout. Alex, close game, but Vikings win. And I'm taking the delusional take and saying that the Jets will prevail against the Vikings. Even I don't even do I believe that? I'm not sure, but I think it can happen. You never know, especially if Sauce Gardner, like I said, Sauce Gardner will lock up Justin Jefferson. Yes, he will. Now, thank you everyone for watching Planet of NY Sports. If you can just do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. That will probably be a weekend review with Rodrick, maybe Alex, and this kid named Big Mike. He's a very interesting character. He'll be on the show. We'll talk a little. We'll talk Aaron Judge. We'll talk some Mets, Giants, Jets. Knicks and Nets, yeah, I know. And then we'll also get into some World Cup stuff too with Big Mike. The New York sports stations, they're talking about the World Cup, so why can't we? We'll do it too. So, like I said, please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in